you can research that for Attack on Titan. That's why I'm also asking
Okay.
Jman about
Fair enough.
Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan.
Yeah, have you seen that?
Yo, I can't lie. I stopped as well on that show. I'm trying to figure out when I stopped.
So I feel like my follow-up question is going to be really easy for you then.
Okay. Okay. Well, I stopped when what's his name? Those two guys turned into Titans, and then they betrayed everyone.
Okay, season 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I stopped around then.
That's kind of tragic because
that's not tragic. That's where it was intended to end all along.
No, bro. Because
that was the original ending
of Attack on Titan. If I had to pick my 3 favorite, okay, season 4, the second half of season 3, and I like the female Titan arc in season 1 a lot too. That's probably my 3 general best areas.
Season 1's
so you kind of missed out on 2/3 of the best part.
Season 1's notoriously the worst arc.
You didn't like it?
That's not my opinion.
I thought you said season 1 was the most consistently good in your opinion.
It's only in my opinion. I'm talking about everyone else's opinion.
Well,
yeah.
I like the female Titan, I don't know, but
that Armin dude, he pisses me off. I'm pretty sure he's the reason why I dropped the entire show.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Honestly, okay, Kamui, this is a much larger discussion. Either Mikasa or Armin shouldn't exist. I don't care which you choose. Remove one of them from the story entirely.
Really?
So on one hand, actually, we never got around to watching that video related to this subject. To see what they said in the video about Mikasa was the one he said should be removed. But to some extent, I would agree. The only thing that makes me not want to agree is specifically the ending. That's the only reason why I think both of them should be there. It's only because of the ending. Like, if the ending was any different, I would probably agree with you. But because of the ending, I feel like you need both.
Okay, what about this? Not to do many spoilers at all, but yeah. So in season 3,
you can spoil it, man. Go all out. I do not plan on.
What about in season 3? You just, I'll say it this way: you choose Erwin, and then you just continue from there. So you have both, but then that happens.
Well, that's a very interesting what if and all.
Well, I'm talking not about the what if. I'm talking about from the narrative angle of having both and then removing one. Well, I guess that's a spoiler. But...
it's because in this case, I think, like, again, choosing Armin and having Mikasa and Armin is just too integral to the way they approach the ending. So Armin's conversation with Zeke really requires Armin specifically because Armin's the guy who focuses on the little joys in life. He's not a slave to anything noteworthy in particular. He just lives in the moment in a very good way. He's kind of like the hero, essentially. He's like what you should be like, essentially, is what they're going for. Mika's is someone who has, similar to Erwin, has to let go of that thing that they enslaved themselves to. And Mikasa doing that's integral to the whole Ymir part. But without Armin, you lose one aspect. I feel like, which you could apply it to Mikasa, but it kind of works. But I feel like Armin was just better because Armin wasn't a slave to anything. So I kind of like him with the Zeke conversation better in that regard. Like I said, you could apply it to Mikasa, but I kind of prefer it with Armin. And so I just feel like you would have to just change the Ymir Meek. But even then, I feel like you could just have the message about letting go of the thing you're enslaved to be Erwin, and that's the end of it. And you just don't do it again with Mikasa and Ymir and blah, blah, blah. You could go that route as well. I'm not sure off the top of my head how I would approach it in that case, but just the way it was set up, though, I feel like you did need both, just with what he was going for.
I get that. I really do. It is a loss.
It's like you have to change.
Yeah, it's an essential loss, but it still is worth it. Like, okay, the way I see it, I would prefer to have Mikasa just for the story, the like whole love angle, and then you would just give the Armin parts to Mikasa, the parts that you can. Even just like just have Mikasa develop over time, so technically you get both halves of Armin and Mikasa at different points of the story.
I think that one can work.
Yeah.
Obviously, this.
Do the other way around. Either way.
Are you gonna have just getting into nitty gritties? Is Mikasa just gonna get swallowed, but the Titan have the conversation with Zeke instead, or is we just gonna remove the Zeke conversation, which I think is one of the best parts of the ending? So
you gotta keep that. No, you just have Mikasa get swallowed. So the way I was thinking about it is, I'll be honest. People only say that, like, the only people who like Mikasa, their only reasons is because she's hype or because she's hot. Outside of those two reasons, no one cares about her. So.
It's because she's a badass fighter, not as much as Levi, but she's like the second most badass fighter, and she's a cute girl, happy girl. That's the only reason to like her. Like, there's no other reason.
Yeah, exactly. So just have her be Armin and solves everything. Not everything, but
I think that's the best approach you could take in this regard. Again, there are some things I like, but I think if you're going to go that route, the best approach is to just give Armin's characteristics to Mikasa, which is an interesting thing. You could have it be a development to where Mikasa is just like Armin in terms of the things she appreciates, blah, blah, blah. But there's that one thing holding her back, which is Eren, which she has to let go of. You could just do that. I think that'd be fine.
I have an interesting idea. Okay. I have an interesting idea.
Thing for us to do on the side. We could take the time to try to rewrite the story as close to the original story as possible, but with that one change plot-wise.
I like
try to keep the general story the same. That'd be a fun little side project.
I have a fun idea for you. So what if you do kill Armin, regardless if it's in Season 3 or, like, the beginning of Season 1? But you still have him in the story. You have him in all the flashbacks, so he's integral to Eren's character. When Eren, like, gets to Season 4... he can use his powers to, like, conjure Armin, whether it's hypnosis, a memory of him, or he just drags him from the afterlife. So he is there in the finale, and he does talk to Zeke or anything else like that.
I'd rather not do that personally.
Whatever.
Another question though. So under the hypothetical that they choose Erwin, for this case, because that was a dilemma, right? What do you think we should do as far as Erwin's character? So not the plot that he's just going to be the scout leader, but his character, because in this case, we're going to get that whole he reaches the basement thing. What are we going to do with him moving forward character-wise? Do you have any idea what you want to do with that? Because part of the whole thing is they were letting Erwin be set free from this goal that had enslaved them.
Well, I really don't want to talk about this song right now because Jman hasn't even seen.
Can Erwin be the double humanity needs without that goal? Because he's gonna have reached it in this case. There's things we can play with.
It's not about reaching the goal. At this point, his journey has broken him, and so moving forward, he'd be essentially useless, almost brain dead in a way. I don't think he would have a new goal beyond this either. And so, but they only included that because they were killing him off anyways. So
in this case, we're saving him. So
yeah, and that's like a different idea from what I was trying to get at anyways. But I would just remove the idea of, I don't want to say remove it entirely, but just like remove the idea of like he would be useless if you saved him. So it's almost you have to choose Armin. I love the fan animation. I don't know if I've shown you this, of if he had the Titan, he goes into Marley during Tiber's speech, and he's the one that transforms instead of Eren.
I don't think you showed me that, but that's a cool thing for us to watch.
That is a cool thing. But okay, back to removing characters. I feel like I'm way more strong set on this, and then you're gonna be oddly disagreeant, regardless of Mikasa or Armin. Remove John. I am so much more extreme on this standpoint. You don't. I hate him. I hate John. I hate him.
Why? Why do you want him removed from a narrative perspective?
I knew it. I knew you were gonna do this. So you're gonna give me lip about this one, but you're gonna actually entertain the Mikasa or Armin, the freaking main characters. But then you got the C-list character over here. Oh, why do you want to remove him?
a question. I didn't say anything about
Oh,
my stance.
okay. Oh yeah, but no. You weren't like, oh, why do you want to remove Armin? No, you're like, oh yeah, well we could do that. Yeah, that's no, you're just attacking it from a different standpoint. I know what you're doing. I know it.
Was where my contentions lie. With that one,
because he sucks. Okay, because it doesn't add freaking anything. I'd give it to anyone else. I don't even care if you want to say leave Connie in. I would say remove Connie too. But freaking John, he has to go.
Personally, the one I would remove is Connie of those two. That's just my opinion because I find John more entertaining. Connie, I feel like is supposed to be funnier, but to me, John was more entertaining than Connie.
Bro, John doesn't
Connie has
exist.
the whole mom thing. Just give it to Sean. Problem solved. So I would think remove Connie personally.
Okay, this is a fun one. Approach the same thing, but like the inverse. What's one character from the Scouts that you can't remove? My answer is Marco. He's the one that needs to be there. I love Marco.
Oh, that's for me. It's I almost want to make it a tie between Levi and Ervin, but like
they don't count. They don't count. Only the people that were training. The people from like episode 3.
Okay.
And the Titan shifters don't count either. You really narrowed down on your choices here. But
so I basically it's Marco, Johnny, Con, and Sasha because you're gonna say, oh, Mikasa and Armin, Aaron. No,
exactly. Yeah. I was waiting for you to say that.
Well, I mean, you have to pick Marco or Sasha, in my opinion, because to some extent you might have to pick Marco because of the Annie Bertolt and Reina aspect there. Sasha, spoilers. You could say though, because of I
don't like Sasha. Yeah, she's the lighthearted one of the show. She brightens us up in the darkness, and you need that, and blah blah blah. I don't care. I don't like her.
Nah.
Oh, Sasha, but what she does in season 4, it's so essential. Give it a freaking John. Screw him.
No, yeah, so I was gonna say like, yeah. So I think I would pick Marco of these, but I'd say Sasha's the second pick in that regard. But you could just apply. I mean, technically, you could play any of these to any of them. So you could just remove Connie, give Marco's role to Jean. You know what I'm saying? Like you could just do all these things, but yeah, I think I'd pick Marco honestly for that aspect.
Okay.
But
what is
Sasha?
Jman
I just was expecting more from her. To be honest, I just expected a little bit more than we got. Like she mostly lived to die. But
wait, when does Sasha die?
Freaking! I'm telling you, bro. Kamui isn't allowed to be here. How many times do I have to say spoilers for him to have it sink in?
Oodie, do you not recall when I said I don't want to give spoilers, and he said, "No, go ahead and spoil me. I'm not going to watch it anyway."
Oh my god!
He literally told us to spoil it.
Whatever.
Yeah, no,
that's why they went out to it.
That's unfortunate that Sasha died. I mean, she was pretty lighthearted as far as I can remember. But I mean, how relevant was she? Did she have any like key moments in the story at all?
She was already dead in my eyes.
A tiny bit, but not. See, and that's the honest truth there. Like, I feel like just Jean, especially Connie and Sasha.
Sasha who?
Background. Like,
yeah.
Jean a slight level above them, but like they just were there a lot of the time. I feel like Jean at least had more in the moment stuff, but Connie and Sasha were just fucking there the whole time. That's really all. Like they were just being their personalities in the back more than Inojin. I'll say.
I was literally gonna make the comparison, bro. They make Inojin look like a main character. I was literally gonna say the same thing. God, wait, that's so funny.
Yeah, like by Inojin, they look like the main character, but it wasn't the greatest thing. Like,
can't believe you're gonna use that as that specific character.
Well, I mean, we can ask Jman about that later, but yeah. Anyway, so my original question, I feel like it's going to be very easy for both of you to pick now that I've listened to all this. But I was going to say between Death Note, Hunter x Hunter, and Attack on Titan, how would you rank them in terms of favorite to least favorite? I already know Death Note's going to be your favorite.
You just listed my order.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I knew Oodie. I had a guess for Oodie's order, but I wasn't sure about Jman. But I have a feeling I just listed his order too.
I'd have to go obviously Death Note number 1. Number 2. Honestly, it's honestly kind of a toss-up, man. Like, there's good things in both. I'd probably, like, it might sound shocking. I'll probably put Attack on Titan before Hunter x Hunter, to be honest.
I was before it as an after it or
like
under it?
Watch arguably the best parts of both.
Yeah, like
Hunter x Hunter is more debatable because some people might pick Yorknu, some might pick Chimera Ants. But for Attack on Titan, I just straight up think you have not seen the best parts.
I haven't even seen the best parts, eh? Yeah, I don't know. I can't lie. I like the violence in Attack on Titan. I mean, there's some in Hunter x Hunter as well, but not until like what, the Phantom Troop fucking massacre.
Yeah, Hunter x Hunter kind of goes in this alternating thing where it goes a more lighthearted arc, more darker arc, more lighthearted, more darker.
Yeah.
So the two darkest arcs are Yorknu and Chimera Ant arc. Chimera Ant arc is probably the most violent, I guess. Or you could argue Yorknu as well, but more violence related to less important characters, I would say, in that one. Like the Phantom Troop kill a lot of people, but you don't know most of them, so it doesn't feel like it's much violence.
It doesn't feel like anything.
But yeah.
Well, with what Kamui was saying, you actually have seen the best moments of Attack on Titan because you've seen all of Attack on Titan. You watched the ending, and what Kamui refers to as Season 3 and Season 4 is actually Attack on Titan 2.0, the sequel series.
Oh.
He'll tell you otherwise, but Kamui's known as a notorious liar around here.
Because the problem, Oodie, is that they set up too much in Season 2 for that to be the ending anymore. Like, it could have worked, but they kind of already were getting ready for Season 3 and 4, so it's got too late now.
And that you watched, you dropped off at a pretty decent place, because even if it gets hype later on or whatever, immediately following where you left off was gonna kinda suck in both places. In my opinion, the first half of Season 3 is the